Hello, and congratulations. You are a lead developer, or maybe soon to be. In most cases, these are the things that you have signed up for. So at a technical level, you are expected to provide technical guidance and strategic direction to your team. As a manager, you need to make sure your team delivers quality and valuable work and that they continue improving and growing. As a leader of the business, you should have a good understanding of the business domain so that you can prioritize successfully and motivate your team. Yeah. It's not an easy feat. Hopefully everybody's still here. Thankfully, we are lucky to be part of an industry overall pretty comfortable sharing information and experiences so that we can learn from each other. There's incredible resources online. There's plenty of books to read and plenty of companies and experts writing blogs or sharing their opinions daily in Twitter or Facebook. There's many conferences like this one, local meetups, Slack channels as well, where communities share their opinions. But the overwhelming amount of information shared can be really a curse if we don't manage it properly. So maybe if we could work 24 hours a day, we could manage to take all this in. But hey, there's other little things like family and friends, hobbies, sleeping, I like to do that, exercise, that we should be also prioritizing. So trying to absorb all this information, we end up with hundreds of tabs open in our browser with pods that we say we'll read, or dozens of Slack channels we can't stop checking, or piles of books to read. All we are doing with these behaviors is constantly reminding ourselves that we are not up to the job because we can't tick all those boxes or simply keep up. So what's left to do? Now and then, we freak out. Or worse, if you take it too far, you will burn out trying to take it all in. And both you and your team will suffer if this happens. So, do we still want to do this? I do hope so, because in this position, we can truly become that multiplier that has a profound impact in the business, our customers, and our colleagues. We just need a little bit of focus and a little bit of planning. At work, we use frameworks like OKRs, objectives and key results, or agile practices to set priorities and reflect on progress. The more focused we are, the more we accomplish. But how many of us take time to plan our personal development and career goals? Oh my goodness, nobody. So before we get into details, I want to highlight the most important rule. You own your personal development, not your company, not your manager, you. This is the most important thing you can do for your career. It belongs to you, and it should be portable. Don't let it become a box-ticking exercise. So your manager is there to support you and to help you uncover paths that you haven't considered and provide some resources. A great manager will become an ally and champion or sponsor should you wish to share your plans with them. But it's not their job to map out your future and ambitions for you. So let's talk specifics. I take 1 day a year to reflect on this. I make sure I arrange for 1 whole day of quiet time to think and write down my goals. So earlier this year, my husband took my little boy for the weekend to visit the grandparents, so I could do this. But when I was traveling a lot more for work and didn't want to miss any weekends with my family, I used my 9-hour flights to Washington, D.C. to work on this. I use a notebook to write it all down, but you only need pen and paper to do this. I start the day with a nice cup of tea. I live in Scotland, after all, thinking about what I really want to achieve and why. So you might focus on something more immediate, like wanting to get better at your new role, kind of fulfill the requirements of that position. That was my focus a year and a half ago when I took this new role as VP of Engineering at Free Agent. Or you might want to learn a new skill that will open new opportunities for you in your current company or another desired employer. Or maybe you want to make a specific impact on a cause. Once I'm clear about what I want to achieve, I take a stock of my current situation. So to inform what areas I should be focusing on, I look through my role profile, other role profiles at companies I admire, or gather feedback from either my manager, colleagues, friends, or other people in my network that I respect their opinion. So from that list, I choose a limited number of areas I want to improve. I follow 4 rules. I try to find a balance between technical, management, and business-related topics. I make a point to continue working on my strengths, first because I enjoy it more, but also because I continue consolidating my position in my area of expertise. You should also think about those areas that are expected to get better at to fulfill kind of the expectations of your role. So if you got feedback from your manager that you need to improve on something, make sure you prioritize that as well. You should also think about time-bound learning opportunities, and that is very important because otherwise we can miss out a lot. For example, my company went recently through an IPO, so I was very conscious this was a unique opportunity for me to learn that won't likely repeat itself often or if ever at all. So I spent a lot of time trying to get the most of that situation. So once I come up with a list, I score where I am at and where I want to be. There will be things that don't make it to the list that are important. You need to learn to delegate or ask for help for those things. We can't learn all the things at once. We need to focus on a few things to make progress. So the next step, once we have that curated list, is thinking carefully about how am I going to get from here to there, from A to B. I don't have a lot of spare time, so I try to build learning opportunities as much as possible in my day-to-day work and commuting time. So how does that look like? I listen to management audiobooks while driving to work. That's 1.5 hours listening to content every day that otherwise I would be wasting. Or I make a point to go for lunch or set up time with colleagues to learn about their area of expertise. For example, I catch up with our CFO to learn about our IPO admission document. That's part of your day. You need to eat, but you can also learn and build those relationships. Or I'll take part on reviews of parts of the systems I want to learn more about, even though I might not be able to contribute an awful lot. Or I'll invite guests to our company or ask a colleague to talk about something that I want to learn about. The bonus points there is that everybody in your team will benefit from that as well. So little by little, you will help build a culture of continuous learning within your team if you do those things. I try to schedule and restrict my time in social media or reading blogs. And to me, that's very important. Kind of endless amounts of bite-sized information and context switching from one thing to another is not conducive to long-term retention of information. So I only follow specific sources, and I try to focus on recommendations from my network. Having a group of peers, having that network, whether it's internal at your work or external with other people you've worked in the past or that you want to meet in other industries, is invaluable for you to continue learning. So I put effort to make that network as diverse as possible because I rely on them to flag things I should be checking out, and I want to make sure different opinions and experiences are represented. So that is very important. So we've gone through all this effort. Now what? How do I know this is working? So every Sunday, I spend 15 minutes looking over the progress I've made through the week and planning ahead for the following one. Once a month, I'll spend a little bit longer going over my overall goals and priorities and make sure those are still relevant. But one of the things that has made the biggest difference to me was starting to reflect every night about my day, just for 5 minutes. So I find that when I do that, I become more aware and explicit about what I do, and I learn quicker of my mistakes. So this is now something I do with my little boy, Ethan, before bedtime, after we'd read the stories and switch off the lights. We talk about what made us happy and sad during the day, and we ask each other, what have you learned today? It's an amazing way to get him to open up and pay attention to his life and emotions. And if you had kids, I really highly recommend you do this with them. Trust me, you don't want to be the one in those conversations that doesn't have anything to talk about. And also, it forces you to explain concepts in an extremely easy way to understand, and that is the best way for us to learn and internalize those concepts as well. So once you start achieving those milestones, don't skip celebrating, okay? Acknowledging those accomplishments will give you the encouragement needed to continue pushing yourself and to keep that focus. So, to summarize, take a day for yourself, find your goals and motivations, evaluate your strengths and skills, prioritize the work to be done, always looking out for opportunities. Then make learning part of your day-to-day. At the same time, you nurture a diverse network of colleagues. Reflect on progress regularly, and never, never forget to celebrate. We all have different learning styles, but with a little bit of thought and planning, you can make sure that you focus on what is more important to you. That includes finding a way to fit it in with your normal schedule in a sustainable way. In the last 7 years, I've gone from being a first-time manager to leading large global teams, to being part of the exec team of a company going through a successful IPO, while raising a family and making the most of my time with them and friends. Being intentional about what I do makes me feel more in control and gives me permission to stop worrying irrationally at all hours of the day. It gives me confidence and clarity to do my job, and it allows me to free up and enjoy better that important time with my family and friends. Thank you.